Now we're streaming. Welcome everyone. I'm sure that this will take a little bit to even get out there. And one of the things I'm going to try and do, I don't know, we're still kind of experimenting here. But one of the things I'm going to try and do is record this for later use. Unfortunately, my good camera on my face, the Sony, was almost out of battery. And so I didn't want to deal with that. But as you can see, and this isn't the live chat, I guess, because I only just started it. So let me pop out the chat. Let's pop out the chat, and then I'll go into the chat settings. Oh wait, what I'm supposed to do is deselect or hide that window first before I do window switching. Otherwise, there's a good opportunity that it will show the wrong window for some period of time. Alright, as you can see, I haven't even really cleaned up here. Also, I haven't really gotten my coffee yet. And again, let's see, I apologize. I'm going to literally have to move my monitor down to get that camera down a little bit more. I apologize about the lighting. I need to go get my coffee. Yep, gonna go get my coffee. Oh, and I'm supposed to share this out. I don't know. I'll put it in Discord, I guess. Yeah, that's a good preview. Except this is the one that was handmade. And this is definitely a suboptimal setup for the overhead cam, but it's the best I can do at the moment. Oop. Yeah. Let's get this coffee. I'm just going to do the unboxing. I just wanted to make sure that all the stream stuff was working and do this unboxing. I won't be able to actually do it again, I guess, because that's not the way things work. I can only unbox something technically once. Let's see, like, these are out of focus. I'm just trying this out. So that's the wrong camera. I'm going to go on this overhead camera. This is an Anker PowerConf C200. And I have it set on manual focus. So let's see if I can find my focus control. Oh, Captain Ron's up. Hey, buddy. Trying to find my focus for this camera. There it is. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's here, I'm going to do audio. It does a horrible job of autofocusing and continuing to move around. We'll see. And obviously there's a bit of a glare there. All right, I'm still sorting myself out. Not planning on this all being super long, but I wanted to do the unboxing. Let's see what those boards look like. Just kind of picking up a few things. My bench is a bit of a mess. I'll use this pencil as a pointer. And then those dudes out of the way. Not going to need to hook anything up to HDMI. You know, here. And then I'm going to mute for just a second. Yeah, that's cleaned up. Let's see if I can move this over. Or maybe this dude over just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. It's still messy, but we're going to need... I think we can deal with some messy. I know, right? Oh, we're excited to see the boards. Okay, well, I have them right here. Here are the boards. Here we go. And this is the package. So, I mean, this is technically an unboxing. I need to make sure that, I don't know, I'm doing all the unboxing things, including anonymizing my address, blocking it out. We've got this is part of the PCBWay experience, right? This, I don't remember, what was it? I feel like production was just a few days ago when they completed. And here I am with this. So they sent it, I paid about $40, I think, for the shipping. And this is DHL Express. And this is the fastest thing I think I've ever gotten from China. So, yep, all right. We're going to just, I grabbed the wrong thing out of my pocket. We're going to get through this. I know, I'm doing a horrible job at an unboxing video. I didn't technically have coffee yet. Oh, it's a nice PCBWay box. I feel like I was anticipating this. And I'm just checking sure that there's no identifying information on there. See if there's anything else in here. Okay, no, there is my invoice on the DHL bag. Take that out, just in case we need to reference it. Okay, and I'm excited too, but I am going to have to drink just a little bit of coffee. Sorry, PCBWay, you didn't get me going so well that I didn't need to drink coffee. Captain Ron, after you made the comment on Discord, that there is about that boot resistor, I realized, you know, I'm not 100% sure. They may have populated both. They may have they may have populated both. And I could have looked at the picture, and then when I woke up this morning, I realized I could look at the picture, but instead I could just unbox them, and that got me pretty excited. All right, so this is my first PCBWay, you know, assembly service order. We've got our box now. I am anticipating on getting those transient filters, capacitors, or diode, the transient diodes there. So here we go. We're gonna open this up, and you guys are gonna see it the first, just the same as me. I just want to make sure that it's actually okay. I can see everything. All right, here we go. Oop, it's gonna fall on me. Okay, so here's what we have these, yep, those are, I do believe, those diodes. We'll hold off on that, but that's a very nice. It's very organized right over here, and I'm definitely not putting on a pile of things. My workbench was very clear. All right, and then I believe that here are the boards. So they're bubble wrapped and in static bags. There's your peak. I'm going to move this out of the way because my desk is a little bit cramped. Moving that out of the way. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, I really should have done this. I should have planned this better, right? Because this is actually a big deal. But like a lot of things in life, I guess, even when they're big deals, you forget to do things. Let's see. We'll take your word for it that it's a clean desk. Oh, I've been such a mess. But I'm paying the bills, and that's what's important. All right, here we go. Here's one. I'm just gonna kind of gently pull them out here. It's good, it's good wrapping. They're flying all over, they're falling out all over the desk because they were all wrapped within a fold. Very well done. Good job, PCBWay. Okay, one thing we should confirm here is the quantity of 5. Okay, I didn't count yet, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've got 5. I am going to set this off. Like, I think that in the future, what I would prefer to do is have a full, inspection stream where we get to use the microscope and everything if I can figure out that light. All right, here we go. So each one is in a nice little anti-static bag. The other thing, I should have gotten maybe some stickers or something. I don't know. I need to keep track of these boards, and they probably have a serial number service. Here is the board. And that's not the best camera to look at this with now, is it? But I went with the red, and I think it looks very nice. Perhaps I should rejigger. Do you guys want a better quality camera action here? Let me see if I can get this to refocus at all. Should I switch to the other camera? Yeah. Probably should. I think I should at least try. Oh, except I'm using my extension cable now for this. Yep. I'm such a disappointing streamer. All right, well, let's just keep looking. There's my NOR flash. And if I pull up here, we're going to look at I got to look at the schematic because I remember that the boot resistors, I don't remember if it's these two right here that we're what was it? I can't even, You get my at least my loop out. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad we can see it. I'm glad that it's okay. I definitely want better. Let me pull up the schematics. No, it's full student camera. We're not using the terminal right now. We will do a browser. And I might even have them already up. No? Okay, stand by. Under the 3 in the center. Videos. I'm just gonna look at that. Oh, yeah. We're gonna bring up KiCad. Haven't done that before. I bet you want to see KiCad. Oh, I'm not supposed to. Okay, hold on. We're going to take away the browser. Again, this is a wonderful mental challenge for me in the morning. And then bring this back. All right. There's KiCad. Yeah, you want me to show that instead? That's where I was going, but I just wasn't sure if it would tell me what I wanted. I think, is it C38? Okay, I'll bring up the interactive bomb. Aha, over here then. No, that's R11. Ah, it's right here. R1, R0. So we're talking about R1, R0, and I am going to pull back up. So, yeah, they're both populated. Totally. They're both populated. Okay. That's just fine. I will, I don't remember what happens if we have them both connected. If I have the guide up, do I? No, I don't think I have the guide up anywhere. For anybody who doesn't already know, that's the we're talking about the boot select for the boot order. I guess I really should do that. But let's look at the other boards. I'm sorry. Okay, so we know we have that one, and I'm not going to do a full inspection here, but so far it looks good. And yeah, I just really don't know if we're going to be. I don't think we're going to be powering anything on. I'm sorry to disappoint at the moment, but I am going to need to solder those diodes on. Technically, I could test it without the diode. I don't think that the diode is required specifically to get the use the DC barrel jack. So here's board number 2. And just a quick visual inspection. I gotta tell you, obviously I'm gonna do some better close-up ones of these. I like the red and this is just a beautiful job. And I don't know if you knew, but technically we've got PCBWay is a sponsor, and while we used our own money to make these boards, they were definitely very helpful in going through the process. This is a circuit board. I really like it. I'm going to need to get some more standoffs. We really need to get going on a case. Is it only for USB data? So the power, I didn't check that part. So the power pins would still, in theory, function. Captain Ron just wants me to fire one of these up. I also need to get, now that we have more of these, and I don't plan on hoarding them, I promise. We'll be figuring out. I think Captain Ron, sometime today, I'm going to send you a note. We need to get the core folks together and figure out who has one of these and who doesn't, and who wants one, and possibly, if one of these is working, and someone else can use the sockets, the socketed version that you made, more than I do, or more than I can, I'm happy to ship it to them. But we need to talk about where these are going to be going. Okay, now I feel like QVC, which, by the way, is one of my dreams, is to just run like a QVC type stream of odd electronics. Yeah, it's true. I will not be able to program over the USB port with it. But in theory, no, you have a really good point. Well, yeah, okay. Well, in theory, we could boot off the SD card to begin with. But at that point, I've already got the soldering iron out. I'm already changing the boot selector, right? So I'll just get it all done and clean off my desk, my bench, so that I can actually get it done. All right, here's the last one, and I'll have to do a good inspection of all of these, do some quality control. But I like them. What do you think? This is they took about a month here. Maybe that's what we should do next, is we should go through and see. I think it was early April. Today is May the 16th. But was it March? Browser. Sorry, I made a horrible mistake with unsharing that browser, because now it's going to be nearly impossible, based on the title, to find that browser again. Aha, I did it. New tab. They do look amazing. All right. And I am happy that I kind of wish, it depends on what the case is going to end up looking like. Let me just kind of go back over here. What are we doing? We're over here, scene 3, the overhead scene. I feel much more fancy now that I have 2 cameras properly working. I mean, in quotes. I think they could be better. But that DC jack is, if we look at the profile of the board, I'm just saying that not everybody may want that DC jack long term. But I mean, long term, this is a dev board. We already know that this is Rev A, etc. But just from a size comparison. However, there's been several cases where I've been very happy to know that it was going to be there. So I think it's one of those things. Yeah, it's easy enough to desolder, I guess, you know, or order it without it and allow somebody to add. But the profile there is just really funny to me. It's like we had an Ethernet jack, right? We might as well have an Ethernet jack at that point. And obviously, if we take, here, let me go back to be fair, to the board from Captain Ron. So, right, and what we have here is it's the same thing, right? But he's got these really cool sockets on it, and they dig into that profile as well. So, and then also, again, to be fair, right? If we have anything going on here with headers, that's going to change the profile as well. And so, you know, I guess when you start getting into it, it just kind of depends on the use case. You could have a slim case, no DC barrel jack, everything USB gadget, right? And then you could have another case that's, you know, for more tinkering. I don't know. Oh, what? No. Wait a minute, Captain Ron. I think these both have a merit. This looks like a Christmas treat right here. We've got red and green. And I don't. Theirs looks like they have millions of dollars invested in both a skilled labor force and a fab. And it's red. I do like the red. I think it pops. I feel a little bit bad that it's like, you know, that's kind of became SparkFun's signature. But I mean, like, SparkFun doesn't own red. And I don't know if I have a SparkFun thing around here. A SparkFun red board. I don't know if this is the same red they use. They may formulate their own red, right? That's actually copyrighted. I don't know if that's true or not. Well, and who knows? I don't know. Maybe a purple board would be awesome. I do like it. I do like the green. This gives me a nostalgia. I feel like maybe I tore this out of a stereo or something like that, right? And I'm hacking at it. It looks like a module to go in a larger device. And you know, I don't know what I think of these yet. I mean, they're beautiful. I do like them. I really do dig these huge regulators, and then the layout that we have for the coupling array that we have here and distributing out the voltages. I think it's a pretty board. I don't know. I think Bogdan particularly did a fantastic job of layout, and it's got a nice aesthetic. It's got a nice aesthetic balance to it as well. And most importantly for me, this is what got me. The UART connectors on my original board were just so teeny, and I'll be honest, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have even tried to solder to them. I should have just kept it, just tapped into them. But we all make mistakes. It's part of learning. But I love that these are standard. They're a little bit bigger. Not that the other one wasn't standard, but I actually have headers that'll go through these holes. All right. Well, that's a good point. I'm getting back to. So did I get the what kind of finish did I get? Does the board have a JTAG header? It's got a lot of test pads. I don't know if we actually did JTAG. Maybe, yeah, no JTAG, but there's UART. And that's just because, so a lot of times you use JTAG to also test a lot of the internal components. But for the most part, this is passive, right? These components are passive except for the processor. And I don't remember if it's primary. Everything that we've used it with has always been leveraging UART to interact with it, and I'm sure that it's got some JTAG headers on it or something, but okay, no onboard flash. All right, I'm going to switch back over. I'm going to drink some more coffee, and I'm just going to log into PCBWay so that we can talk about the story for just a second and the timeline, confirm my timeline. Here's my name. I guess I've already shown that. I shouldn't have called it out. Let's see, my orders. Delivery. Here, hold on a second. I'm going to flip through these. Here, you can enjoy the boards for a second. This is where I need to be able to cut to somebody else for just a second while I collect my thoughts. Okay. But when did I actually... I just read the 8-inch nostalgia. Oh, I'll go monologue on that for a second. Okay, so according to this record, I put the order in on 4/17. It is now May 16th, and my big ape brain has figured out that that is about 1 month from submission to delivery. Now, I'm gonna here, we'll flip back. Since we're talking about it in chat. For the record, I capitulated and said, no, it's cool. If you guys want to do micro, I get it. Like we were for micro SD, sorry, because the project was starting to veer away, shape, right? So like I had an idea of the kind of thing that I would want to do going forward to build a board. And then as the community was developing, right, that means that it's no longer just my idea. And also to get to an end product, right? is you don't always do the same thing that uh, that you're envisioning for the end product first. You need a prototype board, and so I started realizing that we needed to have a development board, and agreeing that we needed to have a development board that fit a lot of different use cases, and that is the best way to get traction, right? Is to be able to exercise all of these aspects, of the processor. So we wanted to bring everything out to pins as we could. We wanted to be able to test some of the normal use cases, right, with this thing. And it does have two SD card controllers. And the thing is that a lot of people forget that SDIO, secure digital input output, that there is more than just storage. That is, it's a serial interface. And if you remember, for example, some of the original DSLR or like Palm Pilot, there was like you can buy Wi-Fi and GPS SD cards, right? I don't know if you can get micro ones, but I know that you can get full-size ones. In fact, I have a few in storage from my Palm Pilots. And same thing with so you can do more with that connection than just storage, and so there's that. And I would say that was the practical reason that I wanted to say that we needed to make sure that we had a full-size SD card slot. But no, Captain Rana's Knight is nice. Yeah. So sorry, it's kind of like having a PCMI CA slot. Honestly, it's just that they're not as nearly as common. Okay, but back to Captain Run's nostalgic comment, which is actually true. So there is an interface, there is a user experience for here, I'm going to do it because we're live on stream. Okay, this is one of my first computers, everybody. And this one's filled, the slot is filled up right now with a SCSI controller, right? But the one that I got, that my dad bought, had two floppies. Okay, this is a Mac SE. This one's been upgraded with that SCSI controller, internal SCSI controller, and SD card. So a full-size SD card slot in the back, right? So, but growing up, and then as I got other computers that I pulled out of the junk, my dad didn't want to pay to have an internal drive installed, so he ended up buying an external drive at one point. But we always had two floppy drives with no internal storage for the longest time. And there's something to tinkering with a device that you can be guaranteed does not have permanent storage, or that permanent storage can be disconnected, and that you have something cheap like a floppy drive that can hold your programs or operating system. And if you're going to get into operating system hacking, like I want to go in for this, this is one of the areas that I learned assembly, that I learned how to edit hex, how I started to learn SCSI protocol, right? Sorry, I'm out of breath now because this is a little bit heavy and it was kind of back there. Hold on. I am also a little bit out of shape. I need to get back into better shape. But anyway, so I'm sure I've already lost everybody, but the thing is that there is some inherent there's an inherent encouragement if you know that there's no permanent storage, as somebody who's learning and wanting to try things out, because you could load everything in and then always know that you had a safe copy. So like for me, growing up, particularly with the family computer, you know, as long as my dad didn't have his taxes disk in and I had my little set of disks, I could do whatever I wanted, right, with that computer. I could be free to experiment and free to fail if I was smart enough, right, to that I had to make a backup, of the operating system or of my software or whatever if I was going to mess with it. And so I would like in a retro, not a retro device, but I would like it to have that user experience, that kind of form factor in a board like what we're creating. Oh, yeah, I don't even have to. Like what we're creating. In fact, I would imagine that at some point I would like to have a board that is using both, right? And that's kind of a general compute type board that we have two SD card slots. You could use one for a peripheral, but then you could use, or you could use both for storage. And then that ROM, or more specifically, right, what is on the NOR flash, which is reprogrammable, but has kind of a limited lifespan, I see as being the same way that you would have ROM on a like an older DOS machine. I've had several DOS machines that had like DOS 3 on them, that they ship with DOS, and that's the DOS you get. And if you want DOS 6, for example, you boot off that floppy, but you always have that other one to fall back to. And so you would stuff this with as much recovery tools and and things as you can that would allow you to bootstrap up another card. In fact, I would also love to be able to have enough kind of onboard memory to at least have essentially like the recovery partition. But again, that's like going for a general compute use case. And in that case, like maybe it also supports a screen and all that sort of thing. So anyway, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to have two. I wanted to have full size and two SD card slots. That's my monologue. Not well rehearsed, especially this early in the morning. I'm gonna catch up with chat. Take a second. Do do do. Captain been doing a great job answering questions. Thank you so much. Captain, I need to figure out how to make you a moderator. I mean, actually, I already do. I just need to take those actions. Need to allow you to be a moderator here in chat as well. Also, by the way, I mean, who wouldn't want dual SD card readers for, mirroring, for example, because they do fail. Like just all of the reasons that you might want two. Yeah. I may have, because I did several projects with them, and then rebought my Palm Pilots and other various things. So I may have like 10 or 15 Palm Pilots of varying generations. Quite interesting devices. And by the way, I'll have to find the title but here's your hint. There is a book written by the designer, the engineering designer of Palm Pilot and the Palm Pilot software. You know, obviously he worked for, I do believe it was U.S. Robotics at the time, which then later became 3Com, and then later spun out to Palm. But the design decisions that went into the original Palm Pilot were spectacular for an embedded device, both from the hardware and simplicity, right, but also how that translated to the software and the user experience. Well, that's good. Yeah, and I'm glad, Captain Ron, that you just pointed out, or that you pointed out as I'm catching up, that using 4G LTE, gigabit Ethernet, and Wi-Fi. So technically, you know, I mean, the point is that we're going to use USB for most things, and that you might not use like a Wi-Fi SD card. But I'm just saying, it's a thing. You can do more with these slots. To be honest, I don't think that I don't remember if I've ever used a GSM modem for an SD card form factor. Revision C is just going to straight out have a PCMICA adapter on it. I think we should do that. Yeah, well, good morning. I'm glad that you caught it. We're not going to be on too much longer. I'm a bit of a mess. I just got back from work trip. I've still got follow up from that work trip and general domestic things. But I mean, this was way too exciting not to at least share with everybody. Oh, look, I'm gonna be up. Jerix SCSI USB mass storage. Yep. So I guess the question, Captain Ron, and to the crew is, did we ever get answers on USB hub? And good compatibility on using the USB hub. And I think the other side of that is, yeah, no, we would still have to have the gadget interface to go back, because there is this thing, you have to support OTG, really, is the whole point. And I do believe that it supports OTG, but I haven't gotten there myself yet. I guess let's put it that way. Hub just works fine. Sorry, I should say that with more energy and enthusiasm. Captain Ron in chat says that he tested a USB hub and that it works just fine, and that you should too. I tried one of these. Now, mind you, this is a USB-C, right, and we've got like a hub and a card reader and stuff, and I just plugged it in to see what would happen. I was also experimenting with different builds at the time, so the fact that this didn't work, I don't think should be any indication to anybody of what will and won't work. I do trust Captain Ron there, because he's a lot further, he's a lot more versed with particularly the OpenIPC builds. But I also am not sure. Technically, you're supposed to be able to power your device through this port, but I've actually not had that great of luck with this particular hub. And it's got HDMI on it. There's all sorts of interesting things we can try out. Yeah. So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, right? So, and technically, we may not have proper USB-C support, All right. So when he had the hub work, I did find another one that's USB. It'll go to USB 2, right? Which is what we have. I have USB 3, but I have another one of those, and it's got Ethernet on it, and I'm curious to try it out when I get back around to booting things up. All right. We're coming up on an hour here. So I think, unless there's any other like specific questions around the boards, I have some work cut out for me. Sorry, I'm looking back around for this. Right, so this is that's the diodes I've got to put on. I've got my work cut out for me in putting these together, but I definitely don't have. I need to do more prep work if I was to live stream that, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to live stream me doing the solder job on these, at least not without practicing it first. Oh, yeah. See, now I'm not surprised about the CF card versus the GSM module. Hey, well, I was about to launch into a whole other thing, but I was going to ask, speaking of custom boards and things, I was going to ask Captain Ron how his sensor module, camera module board was going. I think he was using JLPC to, but they were complaining about his vias. But he's designing a module to be able to hook up a camera here that would be a supported module. Putting him on the spot now. It was rejected because the via hole size was too small. Gotcha. So you're back to editing the vias. Well, and you have that BGA rework station. I have a lot more confidence. I'm super excited. I mean, you guys, if you've seen one of these little sensors, it's not going to come across well on the camera. And now I'm trying to find my box of cameras. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. Let me switch. So if you haven't seen one already, where's got my browser? What I want is Discord. Anybody that happens to be on right now that's not already on our Discord totally needs to be. It's a really fun time. Oh, totally opened up into the wrong window. Yeah, thanks. But that is the one, right? Here, let me bring back up my browser. So I use Linux, right, as my desktop, and I enjoy that my focus follows my mouse. This is not going to work. Yeah, there we go. And on opening up hyperlinks, I don't know if you guys have noticed this before, but it always uses the last browser your window in. I maintain at least 3 different profiles: my personal Hacker Homestead and my work profile on Chrome. And so it'll just open up in whatever the last one is. So when I'm working really quickly, I've gotten down to where if like I'm in Slack or chat or whatever, I'll just make sure that I've grazed by on my way the window I want it to come up in, because my focus changes automatically, and then I click the link and it goes through. But anyway, I didn't do that this time. But that is what Captain Ron is looking to assemble. That is the actual little sensor module. And I love this idea because, I mean, like, this is cool because in theory you could do multiple of these. You could do a front and back camera, or a 360 camera, or pretty much whatever you want. And they're not expensive. You could do a composite, right? You could use things like OpenCV to create a composite board. Now I have to pull up your board. I know. Oh, and you're giving me the data sheet now. Let's bring up. Let's see if I open it in my browser. You guys just love this, I'm sure. That we're just going everywhere. Now, the balls, when you, I've only extracted BGA. When you get BGA sent to you, I know that there's this concept that you have to reball it. But do they already put solder on there? Okay, they come balled. Because that's what that looks like, right? Is that they're already balled. All right. Very exciting. It's for a drone camera, I see. What they... There's the... It's broke downs. Just going to turn off that. All right. Well. Oh. Yeah. I mean, we got to have a little bit of lead. It just makes things better. All right. This has been awesome. I'm so happy, Captain Ron, that you were able to be here when we first unboxed them. And a lot of good participation this morning. Not that I ever anticipate that anybody is going to participate, but I'm glad that you're finding these interesting, or at least the content, like the subject of these is at least interesting enough to stick around. I'm definitely still evolving how I have these things set up and work with them, and yeah. So these took about a month from uploading to going through the design process. I just want to recap on the story by memory at least. So you upload your I used the button in KiCad to go to PCBWay, and that filled out my initial cart and uploaded the schematic, right? I then had to generate I had to generate a BOM, and I also went ahead and attached the interactive BOM to it. And later on, I had to generate a pick and place file. Okay, but I uploaded those things. It starts going through review, and they say, "Oh, hey, you didn't do a pick and place file." They sent me out a message that also went to, that was both in the website and on my email. good communication. I was able to figure out how to generate it. In fact, I had not generated a pick and place file from KiCad before, and it just gives the XY coordinates of everything basically, uh, and the calibration points. PCBWay had a good tutorial on KiCad on how to generate that file, and especially as the way that they wanted it. And so did that. Then because I chose the assembly service, right? Which again for these 5 boards was around $80, a little bit more, but not bad. Definitely worth my time. Because then they go back and they're going to source all of the parts for you as well. So, and they'll substitute if you can check a box that says, are you willing to substitute components for Chinese components when otherwise specified or whatever. And so I clicked yes, because that's cool. Let's see how, what that does for me. And they give you they'll return you back a spreadsheet. In this case, they said, oh, hey, there's some things that we can't quite figure out which part you're really thinking of, right? So I went back, I looked at the DigiKey cart from Bogdan that he had generated and what Captain Ron had used, and I cross-referenced that, and I kind of, nailed down the parts a little bit better, and then sent that back to them. They gave me the return estimate of all of the parts. Let's see if I'm going to bring that up really quick, because, this is nice. And I'm including these things in the, that's not it. I'm including these things in the, let's go in here. I'm going to include these things in the repo. Sorry. You ordered yours on April 1st. And you got the boards pretty quick, right? And you were able to get, so in reality, what was it? You had yours, oh, hold on, I'm going to stop. Reset, because I'm off in a rabbit trail because I want to do everything all at once. They send me back the BOM with the quotes for the sourcing the correct parts, okay? And then basically I end up accepting that. It was about $50 a board is what it came out to, right? So because the whole order was about $250. And then the and then I kind of had to wait. We had to wait for a long time, what felt like a long time. And in the meantime, Captain Ron had already received his boards and was experimenting with different assembly processes, and it's fantastic because we were all learning a lot as well. He really did a great job of bringing us along for the ride, and trying things out and understanding, how this thing ticks, which is part of the whole interesting bit, right? I think we all are enjoying the journey of solving the puzzles. It's not just about the destination where we're trying to get to go. I think it's where most of us are interested here, is in the journey of these things. So we're learning. PCBWay is basically waiting for the parts to come in, I guess. But they were also doing a few other things, because they came back and they, just a few days ago, about a week ago or so, when I started doing these live streams, they came back and said, oh, hey, what did you do here with this with this part, the pads don't match up. What do you want us to do? Again, they're looking at it. This is especially if you're not used to sourcing, assembling, have all the equipment and everything, right? So far, I will have to use my soldering iron at the end because we had that little error in the part to pad placement. But Captain Ron got through it, and I'm confident I can get through it too. But they didn't want to bodge it, right? So they said, we'll just drop them in a, I gave them the choice, and they said, we'll drop them in a baggie and you can take care of it. And I said, okay, we'll get it fixed for the next revision. And then they assembled them, and I had them like just like 3 days later or whatever, 3-4 days later, because I guess they air shipped them. And bam, now we have boards. Unfortunately, I'm not powering them on. Like, that's what I'd like to do with the next batch, is to, like unbox it and then already have a setup routine, like a getting started quick start guide of what to do with your brand new Teacup board. So that's what we'll be building up to on here. But what I don't want to do between the boot selector and that transient capacitor, what I would like to offer an option, a path, if you will, for folks that, let's say they were to order this and they get it and they can follow a getting started guide that doesn't require them breaking out a soldering iron. Just saying, from a learning curve, like what people might be interested in. Albeit, I obviously do really want people to get out their soldering iron. Yeah, so that was the pad problem, right? Is SOT 23 versus SOT 233 is what ended up happening. But I'll tell you what, and they're looking good. We've also learned a lot of other lessons here, right? We're gonna swap out this connector from, I think it's a lower pin count, to the higher pin count. What, 24 pin? Is it 16 pin versus 24 pin? Fact check me there. I'm not gonna be bothered right now, but we haven't been able to get a Pi camera to work on this yet. It's not to say that we won't, but maybe we'll make a different decision here with Rev B as we go to things like voting. It's 15 pins versus 24. But I mean, we had stars in our eyes. We'll get the Pi camera modules working on this. And we still may, but I do, in retrospect, it does make sense that even if it's a hobbyist board, what we're really trying to do is bring the most common manufacturing parts to a tinker, right? We're not trying to create a curated, again, like Arduino Raspberry Pi experience. We're not exactly trying to create that kind of curated experience. We're trying to take things that are being used in mass-produced products and make them just a little bit more accessible. So, all right, with that, I think I'm going to say adieu. I think I'm going to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, and I'm excited. Next time we'll probably be powering these folks on and seeing what we're going to do. I'm going to get the USB port data port working, and then what we should be able to do is boot via USB. I'm going to use the proprietary boot flashing tool. We boot this up. It comes up as a USB device, and then we use the Ngenic from their FTP site flasher and flash this ROM and see if we can get it to boot up. I say ROM, but it's a NOR flash. All right, well, fantastic. Happy hacking. I will talk to you soon, and come join us on the Discord so that we can get a little bit more in depth and whatever else and continue on and be able to multitask. That's the thing, is I can't multitask when I'm doing the stream. So, you get to work and chat at the same time, do whatever. I watch my toddler and chat at the same time when I can. So, have a wonderful day and see you soon.